Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, I've been thinking a lot about doing a second part of my previous video about everyday life in Austria, and finally I got time for that, so here we are. The video that I filmed, I think a few months ago now, got popular, which I'm very grateful about, and also got a lot of questions with it. So today I want to answer some of your questions and also tell more about everyday life in Austria and about my experience as a student who moved abroad here. Without further ado, let's head out. So, I have all of my questions written down in my laptop, and I think I will begin with more mundane questions, and in the end I will answer some of the interesting ones. So the first question is, what are about local people's attitude towards international students? Are they welcoming? So here is the thing, guys. Austria, especially Vienna, is a very international city. A lot of people not only study here but also work here. In the subway you will hear a lot of languages, you will see a lot of nationalities. And in general, I do think that international people are more prevalent than even locals. I do think that locals are welcoming towards them because there are a lot of them. Of course, sometimes, as in all countries, you will meet some mean people. But what you need to understand that sometimes it is not about you, it's about them. And it's not even about like your nationality or something, because sometimes they can be mean because they had a bad day or something like that. So you don't need to take it personally. Another thing is that, as already said, international part of the population is more prevalent, and actually for my whole stay here I don't think that I've spoken to like Austrian people who had Austrian background. For example, I know that in my university a lot of people, they were born in Austria, but in fact their parents are Italian, Hungarian, Slovakian or something like that, and it is very rare to find like an Austrian person, although possible of course. And I also don't think that you should listen to the stereotypes about Austrian or German people being mean. You may say that they are kind of cold, but I also wouldn't agree to that. They're very nice, especially in public. They will smile, they will say sorry, and of course they expect you to follow these rules. They expect you to be nice and everything, so don't be surprised if, for example, in the subway you talk loudly and they look strangely at you. It's totally normal because it's social rules. You should listen to them. They switch languages easily, they speak English. Because there are a lot of international people, you will also find someone from your country, so it will be easier for you. So in general, I do think that they are welcoming and that they will help you. And so another question was kind of similar. Would it be difficult to socialize if you don't know German? Again, as I already said, Vienna is an international city. There are a lot of people who speak English, and I do think that you can socialize without knowing German at all. You can even live here without knowing German. Everyone speaks English. The most important part is to speak English, actually. Of course, if you want to have a German-speaking job or attend the university, German is usually a necessity, not always, by the way. But in everyday life, I think, although I know German on C1 level, I still use English more often, because sometimes it's just more comfortable to me to communicate in English. Even with friends who were born here in Austria and they talk German, I still speak English with them because it's easier for me. And it is easy to make friends because everyone can switch languages and everyone can help you. In the shops, on the subway, when you want to find a way, everyone can just switch to English and help you. And even if not that, you can usually use Google Translate. So it depends on what you mean by socialization. If you want to make friends, I do think that is possible. And a lot of people do that here. A lot of people study here and then they go work abroad somewhere without learning German at all. The third question is, are students able to find part-time jobs? I do think I covered this topic a little bit, although I'm not sure. So, of course, students are totally able to find part-time jobs, but it also depends on what kind of student you are and how much you want to work. So, jobbing for students is very popular here in Austria, and a lot of people actually do that. There are a lot of possibilities where you can work. You can also work without experiences. A lot of cafes, a lot of museums, bookstores, everything. You can work basically everywhere with skills. And what I like most about Vienna is that here you can work not only for like part-time, it's not only 20 hours per week, it can be 10 hours per week, it can be 8 hours per week, and you will still get paid. Of course, not as much, but still. And another thing that you get paid well, I heard like a minimum amount that you are getting paid is like 10 euros per hour. And I do think that is totally normal and it's like only a minimum. So I also heard that in Zara you will get paid 14 euros an hour or something like that, so it gets higher. And in the end, with 20 hours per week, you will usually get sometimes like 1,000 per month, which is totally enough to spend a whole month here. But I also must say that sometimes studying and working can be a hardship, because these both spheres of life, they need a lot of your attention. And sometimes at work you will work a little bit more, and because of that you won't be able to spend time studying, so you need to plan your own time carefully. It also depends on how fast you want to finish the university, because for example, if you want to finish it in 3 years, I don't think you will be able to work as much, because you will dedicate your whole time to studying. But in general, it is very possible. I think a lot of people do that, if not all of them, at some point in their lives. They just want to work and they start working here because the possibilities are endless. And the next question. Hello, I really liked your video. Thank you. I'm also planning to move abroad, so I wanted to ask, what was the hardest part at the beginning, and did you manage to make friends easily? How? Okay, so there are 3 questions. We'll begin with the first one. What was the hardest part at the beginning? Well, when you move here for the first time, of course, it is hard, because it is a totally new country, totally new languages, new rules, everything, and it does feel foreign to you. But I do think that it just goes away with time. You get used to it, and it's not only like the part of it being totally you, it's also the part where you don't really understand how you should function. As an international student, you also move abroad like alone, and this part can be hard for someone too, because like now you should wash your own clothes, you should do chores, you should cook food, everything, and you should also study. So at the beginning it's hard, it's very messy, and you need to adapt quickly. But with time, with like half a year or something, you just get used to it and you find friends, and life gets easier and life gets kind of mundane. It becomes your everyday life. So when the first month it's a total novelty, with time it gets easier. And the friends part, again, it depends on the kind of person you are. So I do think that naturally some people make friends more easily than others, but it doesn't mean that if you're, for example, an introvert, you want to make friends. I think the university is the easiest place to meet friends, especially in an international city where we're all international students. We're here alone and we want to find someone to spend time with, we want to find someone to rely on, to trust to. That's why making friends is easier, because everyone is open to communication. In school there are usually already formed groups and it's kind of hard to blend in, but here everyone is alone and everyone is seeking for connection, and that's why it's easy, even if you're an introvert. I do think you need to stay open, you need to speak to people, you need to trust them, and sometimes the friendships won't work out, sometimes they will, but the most important thing you should do is to try and just talk to people. And that's a whole part. There are a lot of social gatherings at the university, a lot of parties, a lot of everything. For example, Vienna is a city full of students, there are so much of them, so it's easy to make new friends. Go to the place where a lot of students meet, go to the club, all these places, they will help you to find someone that you can call friend. And then next question. Hello, I'm from Greece and I'm curious about the economic perspective of life in Vienna. Let's say that if I'd learned German and moved to Austria for work, how easy would it be to maintain a good quality of life over there? How are all the taxes and bills and general expenses in comparison to the paycheck? So I don't think I can actually answer that question because I'm only a student, and although I try balancing work and studying, I'm still not wholly on my own 2 feet, but I will try. And let's begin with saying that economical perspective of living in Vienna looks very good, because Vienna is one of the cities in the world that is regarded with the highest level of living. People are happy here and they earn a lot. So I think the minimum wage for working is roughly 12 euros per hour. If we do some math, as I already said, for a part-time jobs for 20 hours a week, you will get around 1,000 euros a month. And if you move here to work, I guess you will work here 40 hours a week, so you will get more money, roughly around 2,000 euros. Keep in mind that it's a minimum wage. For this 2,000 euros you can get a lot, and you can spend a whole month here. Even with 1,000 for one person, it's totally enough. So for housing, you will usually spend from 400 to 1,000, depending on where you want to live, plus add some bills, plus add some taxes. Here in Europe, they are high. That being said, that you can save some money up, which is a very good thing, I think. And again, what I'm talking about here is an average wage, so you can earn more, you can earn less. And it also depends on the kind of person you are, because, for example, I spent around 200 on groceries in a month, and I know friends who spent around 300 to 400 on groceries. So it's very depends on what your budget is, what you can give, and which lifestyle you lead. And the last question for today is: Hi, I'm from India. I want to ask for a degree system here. Can you tell me, please? I'm not really sure if I understood degree system correctly, but if I did, firstly, you need to finish school, so you need to have a high school certificate. That's what you need for the university. Then, if you don't have enough German skills, you get sent to these partner schools of universities. So it can be something like Sprachenzentrum or VWU, where you learn German or additional subjects. It can be math, physics, everything, depending on which course in the university you will take. After that, when you finish these courses, again, if you had enough German knowledge and if your high school certificates is certifiable here, then you just go to the university, to the bachelor program. Bachelor in Austria, they say, usually lasts for 3 years, but it depends on how many courses you take. So for example, you can finish it in 2 years, you can finish it in 10 years. It really depends on which pace you study. After finishing bachelor, you can do masters, and masters here is also usually 2 years or something like that. You can do that faster, you can do that slower, but I also heard that after 2 years it gets expensive, so you need to pay money for it. So usually people would do that within 2 years. I can't say further because I haven't been interested in that, in doing doctorship or something like that, so unfortunately I can't talk about that, but here's a basic degree system here in Austria. Also, Austrian universities, their degrees regarded highly all around the world, so you can work a lot of where when you have a degree from an Austrian university, which is a very good benefit. And so that was all the questions for today. If you have some others, then write me in the comments below. I would also like to know your opinion. Maybe I should film some other videos, for example, not only of my life here in Austria, but also an opinion from an international student. Is it worth it or not? I hope you enjoyed watching this video, and I hope that I've been helpful and answered some of your questions. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel. I will be very happy to welcome you in my small YouTube family. Also, here's my Instagram, so if you're interested, check it out. Thank you for watching, and till the next time, bye!